The families who benefit the most from ACA subsidies are those with incomes just above the threshold to qualify for Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program, or CHIP, but who do not have access to health insurance through work and can't afford the massive premium hikes. These are families who own the mom and pop corner stores in the 5 boroughs. They're the families that have owned and operated their own farms in upstate New York for generations. They are self-employed single moms who clean homes to make ends meet before going home at the end of a long day to take care of their kids. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are now in the 3rd week of a government shutdown, and Republicans are still refusing to work with Democrats to lower healthcare costs and reopen the government. So today, I want to talk about why extending ACA tax credits is so important for the backbone of America, hardworking New York families. American families are already struggling with rising costs because of the Trump America. Everything from groceries to clothing to baby products cost more now than they did just 8 months ago, due in a large part to President Trump's reckless tariffs. But instead of working to bring down costs and help families that need support, the Trump administration and Republicans in Congress are choosing to shoulder American families with 3- and 4-figure increases in their monthly health care costs. If Affordable Care Act subsidies are allowed to expire at the end of this year, the average New York family of 4 with an annual household income of $125,000 will pay over $14,000 more every year for their health insurance. This means those families will spend over 1/5 of their annual income on health insurance. Single parents will struggle as well. A single parent in Albany scraping by on $70,000 per year will pay $215 more per month for insurance for themselves and 2 children. That means they'll have spent over 23% of their annual income on health insurance. The fact is that is simply more than most middle-class families can afford. The families who benefit the most from ACA subsidies are those with incomes just above the threshold to qualify for Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program, or CHIP, but who do not have access to health insurance through work and can't afford the massive premium hikes. These are families who own the mom and pop corner stores in the 5 boroughs. They're the families that have owned and operated their own farms in upstate New York for generations. They are self-employed single moms who clean homes to make ends meet before going home at the end of a long day to take care of their kids. These are families like my constituent Mark. Mark wrote to me from Rochester pleading for the extension of the ACA tax credits. Mark's sister has a husband with disabilities and a college-bound daughter, and they rely on ACA tax credits to afford their health insurance. Without those subsidies, the family will be forced to give up their insurance coverage. This could be disastrous for them. Unfortunately, they are not alone. If ACA subsidies are not extended, we can expect a 14% increase in the insurance rates of children, 25% increase in the uninsurance rates for adults 19 to 34, as many young families won't be able to afford the massive premium hikes coming along their way. Parents across America are worried that these health insurance increases will force them to make impossible choices, put food on the table or fill their child's prescription, get a second job to cover the cost of premium increases, or spend time with their kids, pay rent, or forgo health insurance next year. In the richest country in the world, these are not choices that our families should have to make. That's why I'm calling on Republican colleagues to end the gridlock and work with Democrats to extend the life-saving ACA tax credits. Instead of working in the bipartisan manner to make healthcare more affordable, House Republicans have taken an extended taxpayer-funded vacation and are refusing to even show up to work. It's simply unacceptable. That's why we're asking, that's what we are asking for isn't radical. It's common sense, and it helps families across our country stay afloat. Democrats are ready to work. We are ready to negotiate. We're ready to reach a bipartisan agreement to extend the critical ACA tax credits and end the government shutdown. But we need Republicans to come to the negotiating table. Happy to take questions.
Senator Terry Frank at Media One.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, because I've been hearing rumblings about this, that there are some Republicans who are willing to sit down and talk about an extension with a phase out of these extended benefits. Have you heard that at all? Has there been any rumbling about it?
So I don't know if there's anyone in the House who's doing anything at all. But in the Senate, there's numbers of Republicans who are interested in talking. I don't think it's a problem in the Senate. I think the House of Representatives is unwilling to come to work, and I think they will do whatever President Trump tells them to do. So this is Trump's shutdown. Trump's entirely responsible for getting Congress back to work, getting the House Republicans to show up. And I think once he agrees, we can protect people's health care, protect people's access, and stop these crazy increases, then he'll have a deal.
Thank you. Terry Frank again, Senator.
Go ahead, Terry.
Since nobody else is jumping on, I did have an off topic I did want to ask about. We know about the incursions involving the boats from Venezuela. I think there have been 5 incidents now. The president has been talking about a further incursion, a land incursion, I believe. Your thoughts about that? And is he trying to affect regime change here?
First of all, the president does not have the authority to declare war. Only Congress has the authority to declare war. And what he is doing is subverting our constitutional duties. He did not come to Congress first when he did the strikes against the boats. Those strikes did not have any authority in law. He then said he's using the law of war to be able to do those strikes without any authority and any declaration from us. He also didn't advise us, which he's supposed to do in exigent circumstances. So again, if he starts a land war in Venezuela, it's illegal and he's supposed to come to Congress. And then someone else raised their voice.
Hi, Senator. This is Maddie Beer Temple with Nexstar. Following up on the question about Venezuela, do you support a war powers resolution on that matter in terms of whether the president can be striking these boats?
I don't believe he can. I don't think he has the authority to do it. I think he would need authorization from Congress. There is no legal authorization for him to do this. There are no combat operations in Venezuela that gives him the authority to rocket launch boats.
Senator Michael Mroziak from Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Good morning. Another off-topic question. This is in regards to trade between the U.S. and Canada. Talks are continuing. One of the Canadian ministers suggested earlier this week that they're moving in the right direction. There's still no trade tariffs deal. Border regions, border economies like Buffalo, Niagara, certainly have felt the effect. There's been less Canadians coming into Western New York to spend their money. Are you hearing of any progress in negotiations between the U.S. and Canada? And are you concerned for long-term economic impacts if the relationship between the two countries remains strained?
Well, I'm very concerned about the impact of tariffs on U.S.-Canada relations, especially since trade and tourism with Canada are so important to our state's economy. We have to continue to support diplomacy that strengthens cross-border supply chains, particularly in auto and manufacturing sectors. And so I am going to do everything I can to push the administration to resolve any tariff conflicts with Canada, because we need their trade and partnership in a lot of cross-border transactions.
If I could follow up with a question here. Stellantis announced this week that it's moving Jeep manufacturing operations from Brampton, Ontario into the United States. More manufacturing jobs, always a good thing for the U.S., but are you concerned that something like that could also cause further strain in trade negotiations and relationships between the two nations?
Hopefully it's a good story and one where we're showing that our bilateral relationships with Canada are producing great economic results. We've been working with Stellantis for a long time to get them to come to the United States to work with us. The Northern Border Economic Commission has been really so proactive in building these relationships. And so that great work that they do all the time, hopefully will pay these dividends.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you guys for moving the time. I really appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.